Thank you for joining me today on the America Fights channel. Today I want to open up a discussion about the people who are running, or are already in office. These people should not be allowed to run for dog catcher, let alone government positions. Rather, they should be committed to an asylum. Included in this video is an article from 100% Fed Up, dated October 28, 2022. Why are cognitively unfit people leading our nation, and why are Americans voting for them? By Patty McMurray. In the aftermath of the Pennsylvania Senate debate between John Fedderman and Mehmet Oz, Americans should be asking why we are giving a pass to people who are not fit to govern this nation cognitively. I will be commenting on this article. So, here they bring up cognitively challenged individuals making serious decisions on behalf of all Americans, and not questioning those people or their decisions. Joe Biden should be the poster boy of this article. Continuing on. With all the serious and complex issues before us as a nation, we need people who have sharp memories, analytical skills, and a knowledge base of economics, and how the business world works, among many other assets. I couldn't agree more. And I think anyone with just a trace of brain activity would agree. Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is or how to get off a stage. What more proof does the American people need of a challenging cognitive process? Continuing on, 100% Fed Up has previously reported on John Fedderman regarding the stroke he suffered last May. Since then, he has struggled with incoherent and garbled speech as well as accurately processing questions and information presented to him. His performance in the recent debate with Dr. Oz was embarrassing and disastrous. He flip-flopped on everything from fracking, is he for or against it? To healthcare issues. I don't know if you watched the debate between Fedderman and Dr. Oz, but I was embarrassed for Fedderman. When asked to explain the dichotomy between a statement he made back in 2018 and one he made during his campaign for Senator of Pennsylvania. Back in 2018, he stated there wasn't any way he would even consider fracking in Pennsylvania. But people are questioning his ability to tell the truth. Just recently he stated he was for fracking. Well, sort of stated that. Because when asked about his recent statement on this topic, he went into a kind of matrix. Watch this video and decide for yourself.
We're going to move on to the next topic, and this has come up earlier, and that is the issue of fracking. Pennsylvania only trails Texas in terms of natural gas production. Both of you have taken shifting positions on the issue of fracking. Mr. Oz, we begin with you. You wrote a column in 2014 calling for no fracking pending health study results. But in a video posted on social media in March, you said, quote, natural gas guarantees high-paying skilled jobs right here in Pennsylvania, so back off Biden, give us freedom to frack. Mr. Oz, please explain that changing position. 60 seconds.
I've been very consistent. Fracking has been demonstrated. It's a very old technology to be safe. It is a lifeline for this Commonwealth to be able to build wealth, similar to what they've been able to achieve in other states. For that reason, I strongly support fracking, drilling, the piping of that natural gas. In fact, I'd build a facility even in Philadelphia so we can export it to our allies and help them, the ones that are struggling now in Eastern and Western Europe because of the Ukrainian war. John Fedderman calls fracking a stain on Pennsylvania. He says that he would sign a moratorium to ban its continued use. He's against pipelines. He voted or supported the vote against the Keystone pipeline that ended up shutting it down. He supports Biden's desire to ban fracking on public lands, which are our lands, all of our lands together. This is a extreme position on energy. If we unleashed our energy here in Pennsylvania, it would help everybody. Why John Fedderman is so rigidly stuck on fighting against energy companies is stunning to me, because it's the jobs I want. Tens of thousands of high-paying jobs to help Pennsylvanians.
Thank you, Mr. Oz.
Oz rule.
Mr. Fedderman, 15
I
seconds.
absolutely support fracking. In fact, I live across the street from a steel mill, and they were going to frack to create their own energy in order to make them more competitive. And I support that. Living closer to anybody else in Pennsylvania for fracking to myself. I believe that we need independence with energy, and I believe I've walked that line my entire career. I believe Democrats...
Mr. Fedderman, I do have a specific question which you you can continue on this topic, but you have made two conflicting statements regarding fracking. In a 2018 interview, you said, quote, "I don't support fracking at all. I never have." But earlier this month, you told an interviewer, quote, "I support fracking. I support the energy independence that we should have here in the United States." So, Mr. Fedderman, please explain your changing position. 60 seconds.
I've always supported fracking, and I always believe that independence with our energy is critical, and we can't be held, ransom to somebody like Russia. I've always believed that energy independence is critical, and I've always believed that, and I do support fracking. I've never taken any money from their industry, but I support how critical it is that we produce our own energy and create energy independence.
I must correct the record.
Just a second, Mr. Oz. I do want to clarify something. You're saying tonight that you support fracking, that you've always supported fracking, but there is that 2018 interview that you said, quote, "I don't support fracking at all." So how do you square the two?
I do support fracking, and I support fracking, and I do support fracking.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fedderman.
I'm sorry, Lisa, but that's not just a statement you read. There are multiple pictures of him signing a moratorium.
We have to move on.
But we have to
watch
get the
this
fundamentals
video.
of the truth out.
You decide. What do you think would happen if Fetterman had to make a quick decision? If little time was needed to decide the fate of our nation? And is this man lying? If he is, will he continue to lie to the American people? How do you feel about liars? I know there are a lot of politicians, and maybe all lie a lot. But this is no excuse to elect another liar to be in a position representing the American people. Enough. Enough already. Okay, back to the article on 100% Fed Up. Yet, when it was revealed that Fetterman required closed captioning in an interview with an NBC reporter, his wife said that the reporter should face consequences and apologize. For what? For revealing something the public should know? Since she threw words around like rights, accommodations, and ableism, what about the rights of the public to know if they are electing people who are up to the task of governance? Interjecting once again, I agree. It is an unfortunate fact that Democrats blame others, even reporters, for things they are attempting to cover up, or for things they do themselves. Then they throw dirt on those who don't agree with their agenda, deliberately getting those people fired from their jobs, thrown off social media, and labeling them every chance they get. Why? Because that is all they have. Insults are the main playbook of the Democratic Party. They have no platform, so they change the subject to things that have no meaning, like the January 6th Circus Committee. And those political prisoners who have been locked up for the better half of a year or so need to have their day. And it is coming, folks. It is coming. Continuing now with the article. Ableism is one of the new isms that the leftist victimology gurus are now pawning off on the public. What is it? It is discrimination in favor of able-bodied people. It is bigotry based on ability, so they say. Progressive leftists view it as something just as bad as racism, hatred, and homophobia. It puts you in the same category as mega patriots, Colorado cake bakers, fascists, white nationalists, Bible believers, you name it. Okay, stepping in again. This hits the nail on the head. The isms is the first chapter in the Democratic Party playbook. Fear the isms or face the wrath of its power. Bullshit. I apologize for my language, but I am furious. I fear no one but my God. I fear no man, and especially the Democratic Party. They can go home to hell where the devil has been waiting so patiently. Back to the article. We understand that there are types of disabilities that do not necessarily disqualify someone from serving in a political office. But the public has a right to have full disclosure as to how capable the person is in performing his duties. Many citizens have served with physical disabilities, such as Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, who was a paraplegic from a freak accident in 1984 when a falling oak tree hit him in the back.
Max Cleland, former U.S. Senator from Georgia, was a triple amputee from a grenade blast in the Vietnam War. John McCain, a former U.S. Senator from Arizona, had limited use of his arms and an abnormal gait due to the torture he suffered as a POW in the Vietnam War. Franklin D. Roosevelt, former U.S. President, was a paraplegic due to polio. And so on. Physical disabilities may cause politicians not to be up to the task of leading. It is said that President Woodrow Wilson's severe case of Spanish flu adversely affected his decision-making in the Treaty of Versailles, which ended World War I. But, maybe even more concerning is politicians with mental and cognitive disabilities. The most disturbing example of cognitive impairment in a political leader is Joe Biden, the current occupant of the White House. He obviously lacks the ability to pay careful attention to detail, concentrate, remember important items, and make decisions. Who, then, is really leading our nation? And this is something I didn't know until now. In 1998, Biden had 2 brain aneurysms surgically repaired after suffering a brain bleed. This has been known to lead to long-term cognitive decline. He also has atrial fibrillation, an abnormal heart rhythm that has been associated with silent damage to the brain. Trump took and passed a cognition test. Biden has not taken such a test. Why? Because he would fail it just like he has failed the American people. A media protection racket has been protecting Joe Biden. They try to explain away his too numerous to mention embarrassing gaffes and mental lapses. Even the Australians are asking, what was that? In a town hall meeting with CNN's Don Lemon interviewing President Biden. Just as moonbat Democrats have been covering for Biden, they are blowing smoke at the public regarding John Fedderman in Pennsylvania. To even question Biden or Fetterman's cognitive ability is now the new and improved form of bullying. Where will Biden retreat to a safe space from all the abuse? His Delaware basement? The U.S. Senate has historically been considered the center of debate on important issues of the day. The ability to verbally debate seems to be a minimal bar for one who, well, wants to be a senator. Is that too much to expect without crybabies charging us with discrimination and a lack of compassion? Pathetic.